Hi, my name is Garen Daly. I'm the festival director of the 47th Boston Science Fiction Film Festival. And today we're talking with Gabriel Verdugo Soto, who is the director of the US premiere of Elilu, a delightful animated film that is emotional and cerebral and fantastical all at the same time. And joining us also is Catarina de Cesar, who is on our team. And one of the, for me, this is very exciting. And I'll tell you why, and then I'll let these guys speak. When we started this festival way back about 50 years ago, we had no idea that we would have a conversation with somebody like Catarina, who is in San Francisco, with someone like Gabriel, who is in Chile. And we're
Yes.
doing this all with technology because our science fiction motto is the future is now. So, Gabriel, thank you so much for taking time to visit with us. And could you tell us a little bit about your film, Ililu?
Hello, everyone. Uh, yeah, Lulu is my first movie, my first feature. It took me I did it alone. Basically, it took me almost 8 years, I think. So, roughly a quarter of my life to make because I did everything like the music, the story, the photographs, everything is by me. And I always try to do the best I could with what I had. So at my disposal. So let's say, for example, the most of the movie takes place in my home. I'm actually in a location of the movie because I wanted to use photos as backgrounds. So I wanted to use or I wanted to light properly to my taste and within my time, taking my time to do it.
Um,
Um,
you mentioned you were working by yourself. I'm a, and it took you 8 years. Did the COVID pandemic at all impact how you made this film?
yes, by the end, uh, I mean, almost like in October 2018, social unrest started happening in my country, and at that time I was finishing up the animation part of the movie. So for the first time, I was okay, I'm gonna have a movie. But within the same week, the social unrest started happening, the biggest social unrest in 30 years. So within the same week, like 30 subway stations started burning, and then a lot of rioting and people. Well, so I couldn't be like, hey, I finished the project for. So it took me like forever. So in a emotional weird way, that I got connected to that moment, and then like in March, the pandemic came to my country. So I then again I couldn't like, hey, I finished the movie. I just couldn't I wasn't emotionally available to be like so happy or satisfied that I finished the project. But then again, I didn't understood that. Looking in retrospective, that I
Well,
understood.
again, Catherine, by all means, after I ask this, please jump in and ask Gabriel a question. But you know, the one of the things I took away from the film was the delightful emotional impact and the emotion that you put into the film. Could you explain where that came from?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I remember that I made a pyramid of what was important in my storytelling, and like I remember putting the top 51% emotion. So I think it comes from that. Like I feel like uh, I always wanted to tell the story from the perspective of the character that doesn't know. So the audience will try to feel what the characters feels in a way that it will be a discovery. So they will discover what the characters will be discovering. So I think that is more compelling to the spectator, at least to my knowledge of what cinema is. So I wanted to, and also like in the story part of the movie, at the beginning, I didn't do any script, because I'm a moron. like I wrote before this movie, I wrote like 4 screenplays. So I said to myself, okay, I know.
Well, it looks like Gabriel just froze up a bit.
Okay. I was so scared. I thought it was myself frozen. That's what happens with screenwriters, by the way. We start talking about screenplays and
Enough
something bad
about
happens.
the storytelling.
Oh. Okay.
Catarina,
That's the curse that
Okay.
screenwriters have.
well, you're freezing up a little bit, Gabriel.
Yeah.
So,
Sorry.
Catarina, we'll use this as a break. We'll edit this out later on. Why don't you introduce the clip, and then and then get the clip in, and we can talk off of that. Okay. So you introduce the clip.
Me?
No, I'm Gabriel. I mean, I'm sorry, Catarina.
Mark.
My mistake.
It should be Mark introduces the
No,
clip.
all right, great. All right. No, I give Mark the high sign, or one of us gives the high sign. So, anyways, I'll do it, and then Catarina, you please take it out. When it comes out, you ask Gabriel a question.
Okay.
So to kind of like look at what Gabriel is talking about with his emotion, here's a clip from Alilu and the animation inside Alilu.
So cool. So Gabriel, you were mentioning that you wrote 4 screenplays. Can you continue
Before
what you're saying?
Yeah, okay. Before this movie, I wrote like 4 screenplays, but of those 4, I only like one, and that one took me like 2.5 years to write. So I said to myself, okay, I'm gonna be faster if I don't do any script. And I also read somewhere in the internet, I think, that Hayao Miyazaki, which is my favorite filmmaker, didn't wrote any script. Later on, I actually read his book, and he actually does a first draft of the movie. So I didn't do it his way; I did it my way, and it's way smarter to actually do that first draft, because what it ended up happening was that I did the storyboard of the entire movie. Then I took the photos of the backgrounds, and when I was 20 minutes in the timeline, it wasn't working at all. So actually, the rewriting process took place in the timeline while I was animating, and I was the only one animating and doing everything. So, for example, like the movie now is the story about a kid and his mom. Like basically, that's the movie. But at the beginning, that connection wasn't there. It was a story about the caterpillar. So literally everything changed because I realized that I was focusing in the wrong character, and I don't know, as I was doing everything, I always wanted to go forward. So as I have the backgrounds already colorized, that took me forever, I don't know, 6-8 months to colorize only. To take the photos were 4 months, so a year in total. So I wanted to go forward. So I took the backgrounds and repurposed the story and create new scenes out of the same background. So it was Thomas Paine.
It sounds like it was a process that was evolving as you were doing it. Is
Without question.
that accurate?
Yeah, because I think of course, it was my childhood dream to make a feature film. So I always wanted to do a feature, but at the same time, I feel what keeps me forward all those years was I felt I was always challenging myself in areas that I didn't knew what exactly I was going to solve, but what was the right way, So I was learning, and in that learning process, I feel like I was gaining enough satisfaction for myself as a human being that I was moving forward to keep doing it. So it was a learning experience by default, and it was the thing that I feel that it kept me going for all those years.
Gabriel, for people who, the trailer, the clip that we saw was beautiful and gorgeous and had a lot of great stuff in it. But what was it about? What's the story of Alilu?
The story. Well, on the trailer, like you show the trailer, like I always like the trailer that doesn't show what the movie is actually about. Like I like the spectator to go and doesn't really know what's going to happen. Like for example, for the trailer, I took the I remember watching the trailer of the first Alien of Ridley Scott. I think it was from that director, and he didn't show any. It was like no story. Then again, like if you want me to go deeper in the story.
Well, I think people. One of the reasons we're doing this is to get people to be familiar with the film and them wanting to see it and knowing what the film is about is part of it.
Okay, so I think like, the movie works in two parallel ways. Like one is the intellectual way, like the sci-fi part, and the other one is the emotional part. So in terms of the emotional part, it's basically the story about a man that wants to overcome the grief of his mom because he blames himself for he thinks that he killed her when he was a kid. So he needs to process that because he comes back to his childhood home. Of course, I feel like it's not told from that perspective. It's told from the perspective of the mom. I don't want to say it. And I don't know. Like, the other part, like the intellectual part, the sci-fi part, is about string theory. And well, I feel like when I was a kid in school, like I grew up in Catholic school, so now I'm agnostic. So I felt like yeah, like part of my process to go there in a cosmological sense was actually what's in the movie, because I needed like I don't believe that. Please don't think I believe that. But it's more like I mean, if the soul is, you can understand the soul as a data or the conscious as data. In that data is stored somewhere in the physical universe. Then, and if all the data is stored in the same part of the universe, then it gives a sort of an answer to the question or the feeling that we are all connected and the soul is eternal and blah 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 blah. So
Yeah.
that's the intellectual part that goes in the. They go to from with parallel lines, like I don't know, and it's as the conscious part, and is so important for the main character, like that. That's the answer to his core wound. Like he's searching for that, even though he doesn't know. But I don't know. That's the answer he finds.
No, that's cool. I got it.
You mentioned in the film you have a very nice line about string theory. I think you mentioned is a life awareness is perhaps a side of the effect of accumulated entropy. How did you come up with this, or what is your inspiration for that? Did you read about string theory, and what's that relationship with the story? If you would like to speak about that.
I don't know. I'm a curious guy. Like sometimes I just I don't know. Like now that we have internet, Like I press a Wikipedia link and I stay like, I don't know, a link and I can spend like, I don't know, hours doing that, reading.
The
And I don't
internet
know,
is just
Going down those rabbit holes,
yeah.
you know.
yeah. And you find out something eventually that will tickle with you
So you
in an
believe
emotional
in
way.
multiple dimensions and worlds?
Not really.
I believe you have a visitor in back of you, a cat.
Mm-hmm. Huh? What?
Yeah.
Oh my god!
His name is
Because
Potiki.
you said cat, and I thought it was my like a cat, Catarina.
Oh,
I was getting so scared.
Yeah, I
I have
have many.
these things. My dog will every once in a while show up, and it's like you got to deal with it. But so, anyways, the film is screening virtually on the 17th. This is the U.S. premiere, correct?
Yeah, it
Okay.
is the US premiere.
And you've been going. You've been on the fest circuit? I think you were at Annecy and a couple of other fests, correct? Zagreb.
AnimaFest Zagreb, Ottawa, and like in total there are 14 film festivals in Europe and well everywhere in Asia and North America. So
And how has it been? And how's the film been received?
well, I guess it has won like I won best director in Brazil in Animativa.
That's good. That's a nice
I
award.
won outstanding
Congratulations.
Thank you. I won outstanding sound design in Argentina at FICA, and also an honorable mention in Ottawa Animation Festival. So
Ottawa was a very good festival.
yeah, I think so.
That was the first festival I ever went to back in 1976, and it was their first. You know, my first and their first. So,
Yeah.
Catarina, I'll leave it up to you for the last question. What do you want? What would you like to ask Gabriel?
Oh, that's so sudden that I had nothing. I wasn't planning. Okay, so my question for you is what you would like to. So with this film that is that you made that is finished, what's your next steps? How you see yourself in the future and what you like to do. So what's your ultimate goal?
I don't know, to make a living out of this because
he's going to take over
I'm
the
unable.
world.
But right now I'm making a short film, an animated short film, and writing a book. But I don't know. I would like to make a living out of this, but I don't know. Art.
I got to tell you, I loved Lilu. I'm really, really very pleased that we were able to show it in Boston. I hope the audiences love it.
I'm very happy to.
And maybe the next time you make a film and there's no pandemic going on, we can get you to come up.
Hopefully.
You hope.
Anyways, my name is Garen Daly. I'm the festival director of the Boston Science Fiction Film Festival. We've been talking with Gabriel Verdugo Soto, who is the director of this wonderful animated film called Lilu, and helping me has been the charming and wonderful Catarina de Cesar. Thank you very much, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank
you for
you.
having